What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Dog Benfica Podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumacic. With me, as always, Cristiano Oliveira and Dave de Oliveira. We'll take some time to introduce each other. If you don't know, now you know. Cristiano, como é que é, amigo? Como é que estás? Estás bem? Sentes-te bem hoje? Uma vitóriazinha?
Beleza, cara. Finalmente chegou o momento de chegar aqui no podcast e estar a little bit happy because finally I have a positive result.
Absolutely.
Ecstatic. Very happy to be. Summer break, unfortunately, is over. That's the only bad news. Because now, once football season starts, you know that those nice, beautiful, hot, sunny, muggy beach days are going to start a pasar más rápido. But, you know, we're still happy to be here, talking once again about our beloved Benfica. And
that's right.
On positive notes this time.
Positive
Cristiano makes its comeback for the second season in a row. Let's see how long it lasts, but it's back.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we had something positive to talk about. But we're good. Dave, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, thank you, Chris. Are you one of those guys that as soon as the calendar turns over to August, that's it, summer's over?
No. Here's the interesting thing. My birthday is in August. It's next week, as a matter of fact. Friday the 13th.
Send all your gifts now to Cristiano.
Yes. I mean, do you have a Patreon account? No? Do you have a GoFundMe? Dave, create one. If you guys want to send gifts, you guys are more than welcome to send me gifts. But so I anxiously await for my birthday, right? Because obviously, people like to enjoy their birthday. Now that I'm turning 28, I'm starting to feel a little bit sluggish.
28 on each foot.
I'm getting close to 30. It's, it's a little bit depressing, but nonetheless, I'm still young. But the thing is, once I get to my birthday, then I start to think, damn, summer days are behind us. So it's like I anxiously await for it, but then I'm like, damn, that means summer's over. But nonetheless, I'm still accepting gifts. So, cheer me up.
Cheer me up. Dave, how's it going, my brother?
I'm doing well. Everything's doing well, guys. Thank you. Good to be back on, and it's positive. In a European competition, nonetheless, either. We can't say that too often recent years. So everything's coming up in Benfica, it looks like, for now.
Yeah, no, so absolutely. So as you guys could tell, we're a little giddy about the win today. We'll get into that, but we got tons more to discuss here. We got, and not in any particular order, but Rui Costa obviously had his first official public interview after taking over the presidency. We'll talk a little bit about that. Spartak recap, we'll have that. Benfica's forward signing, Roman Yaremchuk. Somebody that we hope
can we just call him Yarum?
Will be the Russian. I was talking
not Russian, Ukrainian.
Sorry, no. Sorry, no, I was talking to Thiago, obviously, and she said, "Yeah, he's like Ukrainian Cardozo."
The only one who agrees with you. The only one who agrees with you on that is what's his name, Putin, calling it Russia. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's pleased with that, so he's probably gonna give you a recommendation or some type of token on your GoFundMe account. But Yarum, just call him Yarum, because we had a Yurin, and it went well for a short while. I liked him. I like him, knucklehead. But so let's go with Yarum. Yarum is a fantastic sign.
I'm hoping I could call him Iceman at some point this season.
And if he's the Ukrainian Cardozo, sign me up. I mean, that's our greatest foreign goal scorer in the history of the club.
Absolutely.
I mean, it can't be worse than that. Let's go.
Yeah. We also got a new jersey that was unveiled officially. Not unveiled, but we saw it officially live on the pitch today in Russia, a third jersey for Benfica. So I'll get the Cristiano's thought and Dave's thought on what they thought of the new jersey. And also Moreirense, first game of the Liga B win, as we open up our domestic campaign this upcoming Saturday.
It's just, in the first game, Benfica, in their first official game, Benfica meets their former coach, title-winning coach, Rui Victorious. And now in their first official league game, they go up against another Benfica giant, Steven Victoria. I mean, it's just back
Canadian
to back.
legend.
That's all it is. Benfica's matching up and, playing against their former players, and especially, this fantastic defender. A shout out to my boy Neil up in Canada, who thinks Benfica should get rid of Otamendi, Vertonghen, and Verissimo and bring him in. I mean, we'll see what happens early on in the transfer window.
Yeah. Anyway, so tons of topics. Cristiano, which one do you want to touch up for? You want to go with the Rui Costa interview, or you want to, or you want to go with the Spartak? Let's save the Spartak.
I'm not in the mood to speak today. I'm gonna let Dave speak.
I guess I could brush up on some things that Rui Costa as mentioned. I guess.
Tu gostas de falar das coisas presidenciais e isso é contigo. Isso é contigo.
So 20 days after taking over as president, Rui Costa had his first public interview, and I'll just mention a couple things that were mentioned, and anything that you guys want to comment on the comments. Obviously, we'll publish and discuss. But he was perplexed by the detention. Christian, do you really think he was perplexed by the detention? Were they all caught by surprise, or did they know something was coming? I mean, after a while of so many buscas.
Like my good friend Mark McGuire once said when he was being questioned by the Congress, I plead the fifth. Was he perplexed? I mean, I don't think he himself was perplexed.
Yeah, he said that also the fact that they were so caught up by surprise, because there was a big criticism on why the club had taken a public position on what had happened, and spoken out freely and openly about what happened. And he said that they were also perplexed by the announcement and everything that happened, that they were really know how to address the situation. And I'll say this, right? A club that's well organized, well structured, is ready to jump into action. Anything that happens, the club is ready to publicly make a statement, right? When Matamoros put in his public suit against the club because they were violating the statutes, the club took all but 25 minutes to make a public appearance and a public statement. So I don't know. I think that they were kind of feeling it out. I don't know. But and he also said that his speech wasn't meant to ignore Luis Oliveira, but rather to prioritize defending the club's interests. And he doesn't want to be really assessed or judged based on his performance on the field, but rather on his performance as a president. And it's something that's kind of like a far cry, right? Because when he first makes his appearance at Estádio da Luz, where he announces, "I am now the president," the way he opens up that speech is like, "You saw me defend your colors here in the stadium many times, blah 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 blah," which is like, okay, well, I got to make this connection, right? Not the Cão de Loiça type of attitude that I've had when people judge me on based on what I've done with Luis Oliveira so far, but rather the positive image that fans have of me is playing on this pitch, and I kind of want to associate those two. And now he kind of contradicts himself, where he says, "I don't want to be judged based on my playing days and what I did for this club as a player, but rather as what I'm going to do as a president."
Look, I'll say this. I think Rui Costa has been very careful with what he's said so far publicly. And I know it depends on which side of the aisle you're on. You're going to agree with some of the things he said. Obviously, if you're on the other side of the aisle, you want him to be a little bit more critical. My personal opinion on it, I would have liked to see him distance himself a little bit more. If it is indeed that, they had absolutely nothing to do with this, they had no knowings of what was going on in the background. I would like to see a little bit more distance from the past president. But that being said, I think Rui Costa has said all the right things. I think he was well-spoken. I think we got a little bit more from Rui Costa than we've gotten in the last 17 years or so from our former president's interview. And I think he was sincere. Now, it's just a matter of him being still linked to the people that have been in charge, so the direção that's been in place for over 17 years. And obviously a lot of people, myself included, are not happy with the direction of the club over these especially like 10, 11 years, I should say, because initially everything was roses and we were in such a deep hole that everything anyone would do at the time would, in a positive, would be fantastic. And so we all obviously agreed with everything. We applauded everything. But then once we all started opening our eyes, there was a lot of questions that went unanswered over the years. And I think Rui could have distanced himself. But at the same time, I can make the argument that that's his buddy. That's the guy that brought him back to the lose. That's the guy that put him in the position that he's in now. And again, look, he's loyal. He's going to defend this guy. You may not agree with it. You may not like it, but he's going to defend this guy, just like I defend you, Alfredo, no matter what. And I hope you defend me. Dave, got your back. It's just he's being a buddy and he's being loyal to his guy. But at the same time, I think he sent the message, the appropriate message, that judge Benfica, judge him on today's results, judge him on what's going to happen between now and the election date, whenever that is, which hasn't been set yet. And so I can't really be too critical about what he said. I guess my biggest criticism, if I had to give him one, is the fact that he hasn't really distanced himself. But again, I think it's understandable, at least on my behalf. It's understandable.
He was also asked about signing documents, because apparently when you're signing a major contract, there's two signatures that you need from higher ranking members of the directive. And he was asked if he ever signed something that he felt that he was dubious. And he said, no, I really never felt that. And there was times that that the document was at the Seychelles and I was at Stade Luce, or I was at the Seychelles and the document was Stade Luce, so on and so forth.
But here's the question I got. He's been, vice president since October, correct?
No, he's been... I think he's been involved in Assad at one condition or another, or one function or another for a while now. I think that this VP, I think you're right. He has never been higher than he has been.
Well,
now.
The reason why I asked is because, right, until let's just say, from what we know, right, he wasn't a vice president until October, from what we know. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why would he need to sign any paperwork when he was just, part of the direction? I mean, that's those types of paperworks. I would assume that they have to be signed by the president and
a VP,
a vice president, or a main guy in the side. I don't think it would fall down to a Rui Costa. Now, since he's been appointed, whatever that word you want to use, as vice president since October, then maybe the question should be, since your new role in October, have you signed? Because prior to that, why would he need to sign anything? Maybe I'm just ignorant.
Yeah,
but
I just don't know if prior to October he was in a position.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Why would he need to sign prior to October?
If he was in a position where his signature counted as one of the higher ranking officials, then yes.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if he was.
And we assume, right, Dave? We all assume his signature is going to matter once he's named vice president. Now he matters. Prior to that, he was just the director esportivo, whatever he was. He had an official title. I forget what it was.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
he had multiple official titles.
Yeah. But at the time, I don't believe he needed to sign off on anything. I think it had to come down from the top. And now, since he's been appointed vice president, now his signature might have been required. And now the question is a little bit different.
Yeah. And Diogo Reis, Diogo says sounds like Alfredo's team, Rui.
That's my boy from Canada. Diogo, what's up, Diogo?
and look, I have a problem with this whole directive, and I'm having a hard time comprehending how things were happening and none of them were aware. For example, right? And he was asked about the Pinto Costa, the authorization that Pinto Costa got to film at Stadio de Luz. And he said he wasn't aware. And had he been aware, he would have been against it. How is a guy like that's a VP, not aware that a president of your biggest rival, in which their official channel spent months on end divulging emails and creating narratives that didn't exist, taking emails out of context? How do you allow a guy that's the figurehead of that club that has done so much against Benfica to film an episode of a series dedicated to Porto glory at Stadio da Luz? I have a hard time comprehending that, and I know that we've kind of beaten this horse to a dead pulp in terms of this conversation. Cristiano said, "Well, I would like to see video because so far all I've heard is that happened, and we haven't seen video yet." And then the episode was published, and I sent it to Cristiano, and Cristiano basically just did an SMH type of deal.
I didn't even shake my head. I just bowed down and look down,
right,
with shame. I mean, let's change. I don't want to talk. I mean, that's just despicable.
Yeah. Luis Souza is saying that he was an administrator of the SAD. So if he was administrator of the SAD, obviously he did have powers to sign documents.
But again, look, as you stated before, and I said before, he's had a bunch of different titles. The question is, as of when? Since when?
Yeah, but if he was administrador de SAD even before October, he was the guy that had those powers. He had those powers.
I know
to sign documents.
But was it 6 months before, a year before, 5 years?
No, he's been administrador de SAD before he became this new title of VP, or now he's a president. But before October, he was the administrador de SAD. Let's just say that.
Isso é como, para mim, é como the thing na polícia ou na tropa, sargento, capitão. I don't know the difference, bro. O que é que isso quer para mim quer dizer?
No, but he had power to sign documents. Obviously, I had seen him present at player signings. And Luis is saying here he had been for a while. Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess I have to amend, right? Which is, I guess he's been in a position to sign these documents. So I guess then that's why that question was relevant,
right? So look, I just want to know the truth. I just want transparency over everything. They promised an internal audit, but what's that going to do? If somebody's going to come and clean your house, and they're going to or come and check to see if your house is good
under the rug,
and they're going to give you the ability to clean your house, right? So they're not going to show up as, oh, let's see what your house looks like. I'll tell you what, we're going to come and look at your house.
Just don't move that rug.
But we'll let you know when. At that point, if you're doing an internal investigation, I mean, it's the same thing. You're going to hide or you're going to tie up any loose ends that might incriminate you. And look, I'm all up for the elections, and I hope that the elections do get scheduled. And look, if Rui Costa goes up for election and he gets voted, he will be my president.
Dave, I think this calls for an Inspector Gadget inspection. I think we need to get him involved because he always unveils all the dirt. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't even know if he's the right man to for this job because, like Alfredo said, they've got enough time to clean it up pretty good before anything comes out that would incriminate Rui Costa if it goes that deep. And who knows? Maybe he's smart and he's going to schedule a snap election if Benfica qualifies through for Champions League right away, and that'll be what people go into the elections on a high note, right? If we're able to qualify that way.
Yeah. Benfica just can't do that. Benfica, I think I said this a couple pods ago. We need to be better. We've been involved in this shenanigans for over 30 years. It helped, not over, but roughly. No, 20-something, like 97. So 20, let's just say 25 years. We've been in this BS. We need to be smarter. We absolutely need to be smarter. The question I have is, anytime I'm on social media, 95% of the talk towards, the former president and whatever, it's all negative. So how in the world do they win the election by such a huge mark?
Well, I mean, look, you got to look
at people aren't showing up.
No, but here's the explanation for that, right? People on Twitter and people on Facebook and people not on social media can be three different demographics, right? Typically, the people on Twitter are more anti-Luis Vieira than the people that are on Facebook. And that's because there's a different demographic, different ages, so on and so forth. So you're going to find that. So whatever social media channel you're on, the most is where you could see the sway between the factions, if you will. But look, to me, he promised. The other thing is that they promised an audit to the votes, and as Nuno Pinto is saying this, the recount of the ballots. Now you're going to recount the ballots 9 months after the election. Who knows what happened to
where
the ballots?
Where they've been being stored?
Where they've been stored? Who's been watching them?
Is this the Nuno Pinto from Formula One, the Lance Stroll personal driver trainer? Is that you, Nuno? Carrega, meu amigo. You messed up my boy Leclerc's car this week.
No, look, I think it will appease some fans, but after 9 months, you're gonna recount the ballots and you're gonna see if they're right or not. When you have no idea where they've been, you don't know who's audited them.
Let's be fair about something. Let's be fair. It's just my estimation of this. Ever since we've seen that interview that by Rui Costa to TV, and everything the club's done so far. They talk about transparency. I think they're being a little bit more upfront about things, and let's just hope that this continues. And the day that these elections are marked and scheduled, I should say, let's keep this going, regardless of who stays in charge, who comes in. I mean, we absolutely need to have everything out in the open. The socios have to have a say. They have to know what's going on at all times, because what we've seen. With the semi-dictatorship over the last, I don't know how many years now, right? It's just not the way to go. This club, rather than going forward, this whole thing of 10 anos à frente seems like we're 10 anos atrás in a lot of ways. So let's hope that we actually get back on that path.
Yeah, look, as I mentioned, when the elections happened, whoever gets elected, they'll be my president, much like I didn't vote for Luis Filipe Vieira. He was voted the president, regardless of what questions were around the voting practices and ballot keeping and so on and so forth. He was voted the president. Move on. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. And that's been myself and Cristiano's approach to this. He was voted president. It was against what we felt was better for the club. But now that there's not much you could do, just move on. Let's move on.
You're speaking for me, bro.
No, because we talk a lot about things, and
my votes are private. You gotta go on my private account to find out who I voted for.
And Tiago,
I'm just mad they didn't invite me.
I wonder if he knew the meeting between Pinto Costa and Luis Filipe Vieira at Rei dos Leitões.
Yeah, I'm pissed.
Yeah,
I'm pissed.
I don't know if he knew. I have at some point the picture that's painted to us is that Vieira is now a rogue operative in this whole Benfica, that he's doing a lot of things on his own that people didn't know about.
Isn't the rumor out there that he, or I guess some people have verified it, that he was a sócio of Futebol do Porto and Spartak?
He still is, because they pay his quotas for him.
No. But what I'm saying is, he was a sócio of both of those clubs before ever becoming a sócio of Benfica.
It's very possible. He said, "I use the piscinas."
So that rogue agent,
it was good.
Bro. We're gonna see this one time on a CIA exclusive.
Yeah, nobody really knows what the subject matter was of that conversation, but it was rare that those guys sit together. And when they sat, apparently, I don't know, maybe it was just Luis Filipe Vieira saying, "Look, I got a shitstorm headed towards me, so you better open up your umbrella so you don't get sprayed."
I think it's a smart thing about Pinto Costa. He's trying to convince Luis Filipe Vieira to allow him to do that interview at the Estádio da Luz. And what better way than with a Leitão? I think with a Leitão, you can convince anybody of anything. So it's smart thinking on his part. He was able to look. Obviously, it worked.
Yeah. What do you call it? And Sergio just a rant. Jorge Mendes is a puppet master. Yeah, I think that that somebody with the influence of Jorge Mendes and with the player stable that he has, he's a guy that you need to have good relations with, and understanding that you're probably going to get in bed with the devil. But I mean, when you're the agent for the top talent in the world, you need to have those contacts. You need to have that relationship, because anytime you need something a little extra, so the player's decision sways your way, you're going to need that agent, man, to be on your side. Tiago's also saying that I think Rui Costa was left in the dark with a lot of issues. Yeah, I think that's a valid point, right? Because at what point did Luis Filipe Vieira know what he was doing and said, "I'm not going to burn Rui Costa, and as a result, I'm going to deliberately leave him out of this, so there's no connection between this falcatrua that I'm doing and Rui Costa.
Bro,
It's possible. It's possible.
This is a whole lot of speculating here. I mean, look, we know for sure that the old man was up to no good. That's what we know. Right now, I think we need to concentrate about our future. We need to keep an open mind. We need to be smart. We need to analyze everything. And, it's obvious, okay? Without having to tell you, it's obvious. Do the right thing when it comes time to vote. Because what's been going on for the last 17 years or so is not the path we want. It's not the road we want to take. So we Benfiquistas have to be smarter. To sit here and speculate who's doing what, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, look, today we had Gilberto with a great performance. Ballon d'Or, front runner so far.
Good segue.
And we're here talking about nonsense.
Yeah, good segue. Turning our attention to the Spartak Moscow fixture. Benfica's first leg of their pre-qualifiers for Champions League group play happened today in Mother Russia against Spartak Moscow. That's being led by Rui Vitória. And I'll give you the lineup. Well, actually, before I give you the lineup, Benfica debuted a new jersey. Cristiano, I know that you're not a huge fan of weird patterns, but what are your thoughts? What's everybody's thoughts on the comments, man? I want to hear that about the new jersey. Cristiano, start with you, man. What do you think?
My initial thought was whack. I'm like, no, hell no. That looks like something I want to put right outside the tub after I give my children a bath, and so like that they don't wet the floor. But I think it grew on me. I think it like throughout the game, I think it grew on me. It's a little bit, the back is obviously just all same color, so that's normal. But the front, it looks a little bit wacky, but once your eye gets accustomed to it, I think it grew on me. So, I mean, I don't hate it as much. I don't hate it today as much as I hated it yesterday.
I like it better than the silver one from a couple years ago.
That silver one was whack.
Dave, what are your thoughts?
The silver one or the one that looked like a jar of olive oil? The one the third kit that they had last year? Is that?
No, he's talking about that silver one with Fernando Mata, where it looked like that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The silver one. No, the one before this one.
That was a silver.
That was just white.
No. It was like a silver matrix style. It had like these weird patterns on it.
Yeah, but it wasn't silver. It was like gray. There's a difference between silver and gray.
You're right.
The silver is what Fernando Mata back in it. That shit was shine. Like,
like a spaceman.
It looked like a piece of foil.
I got that jersey.
Looked like the foil.
I got that jersey.
That's the silver.
This third kit is literally just the back is the same one that they used. It looks like Adidas is just recycling whatever they had at the Fabrica there. Yeah. But the front, like Cristiano said, it's growing on me, but everything else is look like they're just recycling all the stuff that they didn't use in the 2016-2017 season, because the back is the same, the logo and the crest is the same. They just put a new front on it. So I guess give it up to Adidas to trying to reduce, reuse, recycle on their part.
I'll tell you, when last year's jersey, the red one, orange one, whatever, to me it looked a little bit more orange than it did red. When it came out, I was like, yeah. But now, I think I've become a real fan of it. I really enjoy it.
I still don't like it.
I like it because it's different. I like the one thing I don't like about saying about Benfica jerseys is that it's different, because I believe that Benfica should always be Benfica rep. I'm a traditionalist. Just like I don't believe you should change the pinstripes on a Yankee uniform and stuff like that. Those traditional, old school, historic clubs don't change their stuff. Don't mess with it because it's not broken. Don't try to fix it. But that red or orange, whatever you want to call it, that hot red from last year has grown on me. So
for me,
this jersey will grow on me.
This one for me.
That to me is a training kit or a goalkeeper shirt. That's what I look at.
For me, it's class, and you could wear it as a fan. You could wear it all the time. I wear it to my Tia Maria's wedding the other day.
Tu só gostas usar isso because people can't tell it's a Benfica shirt from far away, so they don't talk shit to you.
That's bullshit. No, it's
they can't. You gotta come close and see Emirates. It could be Bayern Munich. They can see Emirates in the front. They don't know what it is, so they see that metallic emblem.
Yeah, I agree with you, Victor. The jersey's okay, but it could be better. And I think that this third jersey, we're probably gonna see this design for a lot of teams. It's like whenever they put out that special edition, made of all 100% plastic, and Man U is wearing it, and Real is wearing it, and this team is wearing it. I think we're gonna.
They would have worn it 3 years ago. Benfica gets like the sell rack. Like 59% discount.
Like the kids in Guatemala, they get the Tom Brady jerseys
in Africa, they all rocking the New England Patriots Super Bowl shirts when Eli shoved it.
No, Victor, I agree with you, man. The home look, like Cristiano said, I'm also an old school guy. Red for home, away has got to be the white. I don't know, man.
The red shorts.
With the
red, not black.
We haven't seen the red shorts in a while, man. But the
red shorts and white socks or red socks.
What do you think, man? We actually have somebody in the studio here. What do you think of the New Jersey, bro?
I think the third kit. I think a lot of teams are doing that with their third kit, doing like a retro. They get creative with the third kit.
That ain't retro.
No, they just didn't Napoli have something like that a few years ago?
They had the army.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we've seen the red shorts with the white away in a while. I agree with that. We should keep it classic. Red home always. And the away kit, the second kit, the light silver looks good, like the light gray. Like the one you have, like that jersey you have, Cristiano.
But that's not great.
That old school jersey.
That's not great. That's like a cream. Remember back in
cream, yeah, but nothing too crazy. The third kit, I'm not. It didn't grow on me. Well, not yet, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's the first time we've seen it. We've seen it live today.
I'll tell you this much. You know how we're gonna remember this shirt? If we win, we love it. So if you pick a winner,
so far, that's why I think that's why it's growing on us. Eh?
Dave, did you expect anything else against Rui Victorious? I mean, come on.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Acabou de começar.
Take it easy.
I told you. Acabou de começar.
I don't think Sergio Cerqueira likes it. But...
Serginho, como é que é? Sergio loves it. He just had a bad lunch.
So anyway, turning our attention to the happy subject that has us here. Benfica played Spartak.
That's not what happened. We would have been here regardless, Alfredo. So don't mislead
That's
the people.
true. But how many times did we come here last season and we were like, oh no, we have to do this now?
I mean, let me see. Well, we played 36 league games and we played another like 14. So I mean, I'd say close to 40 games we did that.
Yeah. So in goal, Vlaco Dimos, Verissimo, Otamendi, and Vertonghen, the three men and a back line. Gonçalves and Grimaldo on the wings. Weigl with João Mario in the middle. Pizzi and Rafa on the wings. And Seferovic up front by himself. Surprised by the lineup, Cristiano?
No,
not at all. What about you, Dave?
My issue is that with Vlaco and Helton late, unless Vlaco decided to or went through keeper training this summer and is now a magician with his feet and can still grab the ball with both hands. I don't know why unless there was a showcase, this is the Vlaco Dimos showcase to get teams to sign him, but that still leaves me scratching my head. And there was one instance in this match there where he wasn't too confident with his hands, almost led to a Spartak opportunity. But that one was the one that I left scratching my head. And is that going to be a thing this year where they're switching back and forth, or is it Vlaco's to lose again going forward?
Dave, that's a great point because I'm dumb and I apologize. I'm not afraid if there's any problems with fight. I said no, which is so contradicting because as he could attest, I called him in the afternoon and I had like a 20-minute conversation about that same site. Now I come on here and I'm like, no problem. And then I forget all about that because I did that. Here's the question to the guys in the chat and everyone listening and anyone who wants to chime in. Twitter, Benfica Podcast, 10CO10, talking to the doll, 87DO87. What has Vlaco Dimos done in the last 6 months? And what has Helton not done in the last 6 months? Not even 6 months. Because Helton, I guess 6 months. So what has one done and what has the other guy not done to have this switch back and forth all of a sudden? I understand. Alfredo made a good point. Helton got a red card last year, in the Taça de Liga game, and then obviously was replaced by Vlaco Dimos to only commit another blunder. And now he's a starting goalkeeper, so he's missing. Helton has to miss the first game of the season on Saturday against Moreirense. So maybe he wants to keep this guy in form. But that being said, if Helton is your true number one, don't you want to put this guy in a mega pressure game? I understand it's still qualifying and it is Rui victorious, and I'm pretty sure they were confident about it. But don't you want to put your best foot forward, your best players on the field in a game that has huge importance, huge, magnitude on the rest of your season? So to me, it leaves me. I honestly, I can't answer. It leaves me thinking, leaves me guessing. I can't.
There's a couple ways that I could look at it, and I'm always the guy that gives a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, plays the devil's advocate in this situation. And to me, we have seen a lot of Vlaco Dimos because the first game of the season is going to be Vlaco Dimos, but also we don't know what happens in the training ground, right? We don't know if there's been an about face in terms of what Vlaco Dimos' attitude has been, what Vlaco Dimos' work ethic. Not that it was ever a question of it. If there's a different work ethic there, if there's been a meeting between Vlaco Dimos and JJ and they hash things out, if this is some sort of a reward that JJ is giving to Vlaco Dimos. Look, here's
the guy criticized Benfica. He gives him a reward. Shit.
No, but at the time he said, if we had another keeper, you would be out. If we had another keeper, we'd be out. But anyway,
we do.
I don't know if there's been some kind of, and it could be like there's a lot of things that coaches do in terms of getting their players mentally ready for the season. And a lot of it has to do with these little rewards, and it has to do with there's players or there's coaches, and Lodge used to be one of them. You practice hard, you work hard all week. That opportunity, if it presents itself, it's yours, right? So we don't know if it's a reward that's aimed at that, or if it's just like, well, if Vlaco Dimos is going to be the goalie for the first game of the season, why not give him as many reps as possible with the back three?
Because it doesn't make sense. And I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense. Because if it's just going to be a one-game situation, doesn't Helton have to get his playing time because he's taking over the reins after? He needs himself to be confident.
You can look at it that way.
He needs himself to be in shape. So I'm just leaning towards, I think Vlaco Dimos has supplanted Helton. And I don't understand why.
You think so?
I do.
I don't know. I wasn't too happy about him letting go of that ball that hit his hands,
it's
man.
the same complaints and the same disabilities and the same problems. It is. It's a guy, dude, just can't catch the ball. You just can't catch the ball.
Dave. For somebody that if it's a reward for A+ at practice, I'm not buying it, because there's flaws are still there in his game that we saw today. He's still questionable grabbing and controlling the ball with his hands, and he doesn't have he can't bring the ball forward with his feet or pick out that pass with his feet. So that's great that he's trying hard in practice. Give him a ribbon, but don't give him the starting keeper job.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how you flip-flop. And again, once you flip-flop, the other guy has to commit, obviously his level has to drop tremendously in order for you to make the switch back. Because you burn one guy by benching him, and now you're going to burn another guy. So, I mean, you're juggling back and forth. Yeah, I just don't understand. I don't
just
like
think
it.
That.
And by the way, if I had a choice, I'd play Helton. And I like Vlaco. He's a tremendous dude.
As Victor says, the problem is that both are just okay and neither one stands out. And I think that we wouldn't be having this conversation if one goalie was a lot better than the other one. We wouldn't be. This is not a conversation that we have. But I think that we could see both good sides and faults at each player, and they're more or less equal in what they bring to the table. I think that it becomes a harder conversation. That's why we're having the debate.
Helton gives me a lot more assurances. Helton does what I need him to do. I understand the other guy has
but would you agree that
Vlaco Dimos,
he's a better shot stopper?
I don't know if he's a better shot stopper. He's more agile. He's got better reflexes. But again, I need a guy think about how many one-on-one opportunities are going to happen in the game as opposed to crosses into the box. I think there's going to be a lot more crosses into the box than there's going to be one-on-one opportunities. So I need that more than I need a guy to stop someone on a one-on-one. So he gives me different assurances. He gives me confidence. I could do different things out the back with a Helton in goal that I can't do with Vlaco Dimos. There's a lot. I mean, I've complained about this over and over. Guys, rewind the tape over the years. If the guy, there's a lot of balls that are catchable to a guy like Vlaco Dimos. And for some reason or another, he punches it out, either get for throwing to a corner. He's given the opposition the ball back. At the end of the day, in the world, in the game of football, the objective is to score and keep possession of the ball. Because if you don't have it, you can't score against me. If you don't have the ball, if I keep it away. So he's easily just given the ball back. And I think it's counterproductive. And I think Helton does that a lot better. I think Helton plays the ball with his feet out the back a lot better than a Vlaco Dimos does. He gives you different assurances. So, yes, one guy's quicker in between the pipes and the other guy's just a better overall goalie controlling his box. What is in bigger need for Benfica today? A guy that controls the box is a guy that's sitting there one-on-one and looking like a hockey goalie. To me, it's simple. So it's not that one is great and the other one's bad. It's not that the other one is great. Look, they might be equal, but one's qualities I need someone's qualities more so than I need the other one's attributes and qualities. So therefore, that guy plays. So I don't understand what he's done. Yeah. Look, he had that gaff. He had the red card in the Taça. Maybe Jesus, knowing Jesus, right? Went in, bah, 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 and he told him, bah, 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 and bah, 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 and now it's bah, 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 you're on the bench. Maybe something like that happened. I don't know. But
yeah, no, it makes no sense. And Dave, I think that some of the folks in the chat are saying, or in the comments are saying that, yeah, it could be a showcase. But I think that as you enter August,
showcase in a game like this.
But in August, as you enter August, and if you're still showcasing a player, I think that right now where you need to be, you need to be on a trail of a keeper that you need to be your started before you start showing
and here's the thing, guys. I didn't watch, and admittedly, I didn't watch much preseason. From the few times that I did watch Benfica play, and they only played 5, whatever. So I mean, it wasn't many, but the very few that I've seen of Benfica from I don't recall ever seeing Helton in goal.
He played a couple of halves.
Yeah.
He did? Okay.
They split halves.
Okay, then I missed that game. So when did Villar play?
Villar hasn't played.
Period. Okay.
Unless he played at the Seychelles when the games weren't televised. But Villar hasn't played at all.
Okay.
So
I don't understand what.
But anyway,
once he takes over, he has to be really subpar in order to lose his position, and he just hasn't been there from what I've seen.
Pergunta aí ao teu amigo JJ, what's going on?
Aí, cara, beleza? Cara quer falar não.
He looks like he's fed up with the situation.
He's mad.
This was supposed to be a positive conversation. We just spent about 10-15 minutes.
No, and that's fine. But that's a conversation that Benfica is having. There's guys that like Vlaco Dimos. There's guys that like Helton.
And we didn't even get into Tarap yet, Dave. Just wait. No, I'm joking.
No, you don't. So anyway, turning our attention to the game, I thought that Benfica played well in the first half, and if it was a gripe of mine with the games that we had in preseason was that Benfica wasn't creating as many chances in the final third, or wasn't creating as many goal chances. I think in the first half we were able to create quite a few, and we were unlucky probably not to come out of the first half with a couple goals lead, Pizzi, I saw Pizzi miss a couple, Rafa miss a couple.
Rafa had that beautiful turn, and then with the outside of the foot.
The outside of the foot. That was always going to be a tough one.
But again, we all know once Rafa gets in the box, he's going to shoot wide anyway. So that was right up his alley.
Yeah. Seferovic comes out injured in the 37th minute. Cristiano, blessing in disguise, or do you think we're screwed?
Come on, you're talking to the wrong guy. Look, I'm the first one to understand and admit that he's not anything spectacular, but I think he gets a lot of slack from you guys undeservedly, because there's other guys that miss just as many opportunities, turn the ball over a lot more than he does, and they get no type of criticism. So I defend the guy for that reason alone. Now, it's unfortunate that he did get injured. Obviously, you never want to see anybody get injured. But if there was a possibility that he was going to leave at some point in this transfer window, this obviously is going to put a wrench in things. And so it's going to mess up his plans, going to mess up Benfica's plans. Maybe he stays around now. We know Vinicius is gone. Pinho is hurt as well.
There's also rumors that there might be an offer for Darwin.
Yeah, there is an offer, and they're rejecting. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I'll take the $30 million and run. I mean, But
here's the thing that JJ addressed that after the game, saying that there's been a lot of criticism by the media after Benfica signed the Ukrainian forward, that Benfica has too many forwards for a team that plays with only one forward. And he said, we just had 2 players go down in just this game. In Pinho, obviously Pinho is not going to be as prolonged absent as Seferovic.
We don't know
from the early assessments.
Well, they said yesterday no, but then you heard rumors that it might be a little bit more severe than what they made it seem like. Obviously, they're not till the swelling goes down, the MRIs, but they're always going to try to downplay stuff. But again, look, and I'm not attempting to be funny. I'm just being honest, right? When the hell does the Portuguese media not criticize what Benfica does? They criticized last year because they had 3 strikers. Now they criticize because they got 6 or 7. They criticize Portuguese people.
Sells papers.
Exactly.
Sells papers.
Benfiquistas are never happy. I had people texting me, going berserk because of today's lineup, and I was like, oh, she lacks 2-0, and I got it right. So I got to. I mean, I don't get the many of these right. I thought Benfica was going to whoop them. And as I said on last week's podcast, easy breezy, easy peasy, como dice. And look, it was a nice walk in the park. Obviously, they created a couple of chances, but Benfica created a lot more. It was totally what I expected. And considering this is the first official game of the season for Benfica, I think we should be ecstatic.
Yeah, no, and I think that, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but let me just wrap up the second half real quick. Benfica came out with the same intensity, but I thought they were better. They were more cynical in terms of what the team was doing. They were more direct. Rafa was able to get on the board in the 51st minute, which kind of relieved some of that pressure, some of that frustration of missing some chances to start. And I thought that that was a good start of the first half by Benfica. And I thought that and I think that for as much money as Benfica has spent, and maybe this is a little bit of an early assessment on my part, for as much money as Benfica has spent in the past years, this João Mario signing to me is a game changer for this year for Benfica. And João Mario is not a spectacular player, as anybody knows. He's not going to dribble 2-3 guys, but he's a guy that is reads of the game, his positioning, the way he gets the ball out of pressure situations is something that Benfica didn't have. The way he determines what kind of speed the game is played at through the midfield is something that Benfica hasn't had in the past and that we have been missing for a while. Now, with that being said, I know it's still one game, and I hope that we're not now become too dependent on João Mario, but certainly what I'm seeing now in Benfica's midfield is something that I'm really liking in terms of João Mario. Dave, what are your initial thoughts on this Benfica midfield, and what kind of improvements are you seeing on your end?
I messaged my buddies who are Inter fans after the game saying, I don't want to jinx it, but João Mario was easily Benfica's best player of the match today. And like I said, or like you said, it's early days and I don't want to jinx it, but just the way he was able to connect sectors and distribute the ball and just make that look so easy. Really, really impressed with João Mario's game today. And hopefully he's that missing piece that we've been missing in our midfield.
João Mario, I have to eat crow. I shouldn't say crow because I wasn't against his signature, but at the same time, I wasn't ecstatic. I thought he was fabulous today. I thought he was Benfica's man of the match, followed by Verissimo. I thought Verissimo had an excellent game as well. But João Mario gives Benfica exactly what they've been lacking over the last 2 seasons. He gives Benfica exactly what Benfica has been asking and requiring of Pizzi. He just doesn't do it, that far up the field. in the final third. But as far as organizing the game, as far as keeping control of the ball, I think in possession, he's fantastic. And today, I thought he was terrific. And I thought he did a hell of a job of getting the ball. The guy barely turned the ball over. He was always able to pick someone out. And I get it. Look, as I said, and you agreed, and I think you said the same thing when we first signed, he doesn't do anything spectacular. He doesn't do anything bad. He's just a solid player. And I think that guy has brought that stability. And I get it. It's one game. It's Spartak Moscow. We're not going to get ecstatic. We're not going to get carried away here. But at least for the first official game, guy that only arrived, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, but that's also typical of João Mario. This is what we know João Mario to be like. He's never been spectacular, but he's always been that little ant, that little workhorse.
But over the last couple of years, he's obviously hasn't played at the level everyone expected him to. So there was a lot of question marks. And so in the first official game in the Benfica shirt, I thought he represented the club. I thought he did a terrific job. And I think this is the guy that we needed to shore up our midfield. Now, as much as I was surprised and I'm ecstatic that he's obviously had this performance in the Benfica shirt, I think we improved tremendously. Our midfield, at least our middle of the park. He's a guy that's, as I said before, he's going to shore up everything in the middle. But that being said, I still believe that we lack creativity. That's the only concern. I think he's going to do a good job of spreading the ball around and getting everyone involved. But we need the difference maker. We still need a guy that's going to be able to break the lines. And João Mario's passed a lot of organization, but never a through ball to really thread the needle. He's capable of doing that, but that's not really his game, right? He's more of a control guy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We still lack creativity. We'll see. Now, it's going to be interesting once we get a Yarmouk or Yurum, whatever I called him before, Yarum, whatever. Once we get that guy involved, because he's going to need some service into the box, and that guy could finish his ass off. So it's going to be critical that João Mario gets the ball out wide, because we know JJ wants to keep his wingers as close to the touchline as possible and then cross the ball into the box. So João Mario is going to be critical in that department. But I still believe, and I think it's my only criticism, I still believe we lack creativity. And somebody saying, and I said that earlier, Everton, but Everton's out on the wing. I like to have someone in the middle of the park that could kind of pull the chains a little bit and dictate game and pace. And I do agree, Everton is really the only guy aside from Rafa. But Rafa, as we know, as we've seen over the years, he's tremendous for 2-3 months, if that. And then he's way inconsistent. And then towards the end of the season, shows up again. He has the ability, the speed to be a game changer, but
I think that the thing with Rafa is that he can't be our sole guy that's going to beat people with his speed. He could be the guy that's there that we could go to whenever we need to. But he should. I mean, there's been times of the season that he's been the only guy that's been able to do anything. But we need Everton to step up. We need Everton to bring the same type of aggressiveness and the same type of verticality that Rafa brings sometimes. And Everton is a lot more skilled, albeit not as fast as Rafa, with the ball at his feet. So if we could have those guys kind of, give their contribute now and again, where it doesn't always have to be one guy carrying the load, I think that Rafa could be okay if he goes missing in certain times of the game.
Here's the question. As I stated before, with a Yarmouk on the field, we know JJ is going to want to feed him. As I stated before, JJ likes to keep his guys as far wide as possible, right? What guy currently on the roster, and that includes Everton, really, Everton has the ability, doesn't do it, but really takes guys one-on-one, goes into the touchline, and then we don't have a lot of guys that do it.
And Everton doesn't do that at all. I don't think Rafa
Everton cuts in to get his shot. Rafa's crosses.
Grimaldo and Gonçalves are the guys that do that.
That's really it. We don't really have that wing. So
and God knows those crosses aren't good. Not all the time.
Look, the good thing is that I firmly believe in my heart that if Benfica does find a way to get past PSV in the next obviously to qualify.
PSV is going to be a tougher challenge if we get past Spartak, for sure.
Absolutely. If Benfica does get through that and Benfica qualifies for the Champions League, look, there's going to be more players coming in. And so we'll see. I mean, I would like to get another guy on the wing, because right now we have really 3 wingers. Everton, Rafa, and the other guy's not even a winger, which is Pizzi. So we'll see what happens. But obviously, right now, first things at hand. The Spartak Moscow. I think it's their first official game. I think it was a good showing.
It was
by
good,
Benfica.
man. It was good. What'd you think of your boy Gil's goal in the 74th minute with the assist from Verissimo?
Oh, Gilberto, that's Ballon d'Or right now. He's the early leader in the clubhouse. Ballon d'Or, early leader. I mean, that was, I don't know if he closed his eyes, but if he meant that, fantastic. I mean, that's better than Darwin, who's Benfica's all-time, and Darwin, Benfica and league Portuguese. Darwin would have took 3 touches too long and would wind up in a corner flag. Give credit to Gilberto. Look, Gilberto's another guy that gets a ton of criticism and a lot more warranted than Seferovic.
Yeah.
But my man played well today.
Yeah.
You guys know how I am, Alfredo. I rag, but I give credit when credit is due.
You think Gilberto is
I didn't think
this
nothing.
season's Servi?
Don't put words into my mouth. I think that today he played well.
Do you think is this season's Servi?
I'm gonna reiterate.
I'll ask you that. Do you think he's this season's Servi? Meaning,
no, because
he's not the most talented guy.
I still believe there's a chance he leaves.
Gilberto?
Yes.
Well, I would think so with Diogo Gonçalves and Andre Almeida.
I think Lazaro, whatever his name is, Lozaro.
You holding out hope?
I think there's a chance. Again, Benfica, hopefully once Benfica makes the Champions League, I'm telling you, there's going to be a bunch of new players coming in. Not a bunch, but we'll see Benfica possibly get another left back. Right back, obviously, we know for years now we've been complaining about right back. So Lazaro is a guy that could do the whole right flank. So he could, in that system, he could play that system, that whole flank. So we'll see what happens. But again, if Benfica could make a couple bucks on Gilberto, I don't think they're going to say no, especially if they have adequate replacements.
Yeah, Nuno Pinto saying Lucas on a selling roster. But look, I think that I agree with Thiago. I know that Luka plays as a second forward, but he could play in that interior role that JJ has both Everton play and Rafa play, meaning start wide and come in. I think that Luka Waldschmidt can do that for Benfica. I don't think he's all there yet, but I think that he could do that for Benfica.
I haven't, and sadly, I haven't seen any indication of that. It just hasn't shown me he's got the ability to take guys one-on-one. And when you put Everton and Rafa out wide, that intention to take guys one-on-one. And if you have to cut into the middle and, get your shot. I just haven't seen much of that from Luka. And I think, as I said to you last year, Alfredo, here on the podcast, I thought when Benfica was getting him that he was more of a guy that got a lot more involved than what we saw last year. I thought he's more of, to put it, in layman's terms, I thought he's more of a midfielder than he was a forward. And it seems like he's more of a forward than he's a midfielder. He's a guy that needs the ball up top. He's not going to come back, get creative, take guys one-on-one. I just don't see him doing that. You might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but just based on what I've seen, I'm not sure. And I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm saying I'm not sure he has that ability.
Yeah, Dave, what'd you think of the game, brother?
Thought it was a good game. Definitely a lot of chances, and the 2-0 score line should have been a lot more with the amount of scoring opportunities that we had. I think one piece that we haven't touched upon with the Seferovic injury and Gonzalo Ramos coming on, this could have been his opportunity to shine and make the best of his limited opportunities. But once again, I think we had this chat earlier. Nothing stood out for Ramos in as the striker there. Just no finishing. The Benfica really lacked a real finisher in this match that could have really put this fixture away. But if it was my boy Seferovic in that position, we would have probably been hearing the doubters out there. But I think he should, for somebody that gets limited opportunities, this should have been one that he should have really capitalized on.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, and I we have this ongoing thing with Gonzalo Ramos, and I had sent a meme to the group that we're in, where when Seferovic misses a goal, motherfucker, you suck, get the fuck out of my club.
Whoa. Just watching, bro.
And when Gonzalo Ramos misses one, it's like, oh, coitadinho, oh, no.
Pobrecito.
Look, I agree. There's a lot of things that sometimes Chris and I don't agree, and I'm all for giving a 19-year-old the due chances that he has. He's gathered a lot of praise by JJ in this preseason, so his stock is a lot higher with JJ than it has been. But as Cristiano mentions, at this level, big boy soccer, you got to show up. You got to put the ball in the back of the head of the net, and especially when you have 6 forwards on the roster.
7.
So yeah, look, you get those chances. You got to be able to put your mark. You got to be able to put, regardless of whether you're 19 or not.
I think that goes for even the Seferovic.
It goes for everyone.
Because with the addition of Yaremchuk, these guys are. Hey, we have a ton of options. If you're not putting it back into the net, next guy in line. Look, he's young. He has a ton of potential. Let's not put too much on the kid right now. Let the kid breathe. Let the kid develop. Now, come Sunday, it'll be interesting to see if he's a starter. Because we know Vinicius is not really a guy that JJ likes to count on. Bingu's hurt. Seferovic is hurt. Yaremchuk is there. The question I have with Yaremchuk, and I had this conversation earlier today. Honestly, I don't know if it was you. I don't know who it was. I had a conversation earlier today about a Yaremchuk. I forget who it was with. And if it was a South American player, a Brazilian player, whatever, even a guy that speaks English, I think, I don't know if he does or not, but I think that guy might get the start. But because of Ukrainian being such a language that's not very familiar to the port, the communication, it's going to be important.
He speaks English.
He speaks English. They posted a video on.
He does. Perfect English, too.
Yeah.
Oh, he does.
Most of the people now speak English, even you, Christian.
Yeah, I try. So then, look, there might be a chance. Then I would not be surprised if JJ then, I guess,
comes out with his brand new toy. Final thoughts on the game.
I think it was, look, for first game of the season, considering the pressure that was on Benfica, which we all know was all laid on Benfica, considering the fact that in this game last year we had such a blunder that really dictated the rest of our season. There was a lot of eyes and a lot of attention being paid to the players, to this club, to the way everyone carries the performances because of all the stuff, as you stated before, with the elections and all this BS. It was imperative that Benfica came out on the right foot, and I think today, for a very first game, I thought it was better than what a lot of people anticipate, I should say, because I did. I actually estava na brincadeira naquela que vamos à tareia, because a lot of people were skeptical about this, and so credit to Benfica, credit to JJ, the players and JJ, everybody stepped up today, did what they had to do, could have come away with a 4-0 victory. There was a couple of handballs in the box that I still don't understand what the hell Benfica has to do to get these things called, because it's been going on for a couple of years now. But I think it was a positive result, a good performance. I hope that we could get better. I think we can get better. And so I think, again, we have a lot of positives to take from this game.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you guys. For the first game, the official, and with as much pressure because of everything that has happened in the past season, and the possibility of missing out on those 39 million that we so desperately want, not only as a club, but we also want the recognition of being in the Champions League group stages. I thought it was good. You still got a second leg to play. Obviously, I would have liked to have come out of Russia with a larger score line, but it wasn't possible. But I thought that the team comes out of there in a dominant fashion. I think that we were able to assert our dominance over the Russians, and I think that they understand that. They understand, and I think even Rui Vitória in the post-press conference, he said Benfica has players that are national team players, and some of the best national teams in the world: Argentina, Belgium, Brazil. So this might not even, and our team is still a team that's being developed and still in its embryonic stages. So I understand that, but I think that we still have the second leg to play, which we shouldn't have a problem getting past this Spartak team. From what I've seen today, from what their abilities are, but I thought it was good. I thought that there was a lot of encouraging, positive things that we saw from this team today that normally this early in preseason that we don't see, and that to me is encouraging. And that's the one positive that I'm gonna hold on to. That and Gilberto's goal, obviously.
Gilberto, Ballon d'Or, baby, early leader in the clubhouse, Dave.
Hey, it was the first time since October 2016 that Benfica hasn't conceded a goal in an away game in European competitions. So.
And Dave, I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the very few times Benfica scored 2 goals in the Champions League game.
Does it qualify as a Champions League game?
I don't care. It's considered Champions League. Right?
If you're not playing with the ball with the stars, it's not a Champions League game.
We make it Champions League. Don't worry about it.
It's only Benfica's 3rd victory in Russia too.
Well, we have one. No, did we? I don't remember.
96
Zenit?
Against Lokomotiv, in 2016 against Zenit, and this was their 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, turning our attention now. So the second leg will be played on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week,
Tuesday.
Dave? Tuesday of next week. So before that, we got the Murinets game. But before the Murinets game, let's talk about the Ukrainian signing, Yaramchuk, Roman Yaramchuk, 25-year-old from Ukraine, signed until 2026 for 17 million of 75% of his pass with 100 million clause. We signed him for Ghent, and Dave, he's had a little bit of an ascension at Ghent.
Yeah, he was a Dynamo Kiev youth product who went to Ghent and Ghent, 2 different clubs there. Went over in 2017, made 121 appearances for them, scored 47 goals. He's also a Ukrainian starter for the national team there, 29 appearances and 10 goals for them as well.
Right. So he's had a little bit of a progression to the positive side in terms of Ghent. Of course, this is a Belgian league, but also Ghent is not one of the major players in the Belgian league, right? So we don't know if they play attacking football like Benfica does. I'll be honest, I don't know much about this player with the exception of what I have seen on YouTube. And granted, YouTube highlights and scouting videos are taken with a grain of salt. But what you see as you're watching these is lots of types of finishes. You got right foot finishes, you got left foot finishes, you got finesse finishes,
Terrific
you
with
got
his
head
head.
finishes. I mean, you got a player that's versatile in terms of the way he finishes a ball, and that's encouraging.
Look, I think what I've seen from what I saw, I should say, what I saw from him during the Euros was enough to convince me that this is a quality player. And when you add those highlights, as you stated, and you see the types of goals that he's scoring, I think this guy's a finisher. I think if he gets the right amount of service into the box, he's going to put the ball in the back of the net, and he's going to be a huge upgrade from what we have right now on the roster in terms of finishing. He's head and shoulders above everyone else. So I'm intrigued. I'm ecstatic. Want to see the guy play as soon as possible. He's a kid with 25. I want to see him play as soon as possible, and hopefully this Saturday against Murinets, he cracks the lineup and we see him live and in action right there and shows the world what he's made of.
Cristiano, and do you think there will be a push in the same manner that there was a push for Darwin to start with this kid because he's a big investment?
I don't think it's about investment. I think Benfica, as I stated before regarding this first game in the Champions League qualifier, there's a ton of pressure on Benfica, on JJ to get off to the right start. Last year was
JJ and Rui Costa.
Last year was disastrous. Let's call it what it is. Last year was a terrible, terrible season. Obviously, many different factors might have played a role, maybe not. We don't know. It's something we'll never know. We just sit here and speculate. But we know for sure Benfica has to come away with the 3 points on Sunday, going into a place that's not easy to play, a team that knows that they're going to have to sit back, keep things very tight, try to catch Benfica on a counter. But then again, from what we saw last year, we anticipated a lot of those games to go in a way I just mentioned. But these teams had really no respect for Benfica. They just kept coming forward. And Benfica a lot of times was on the back foot, holding on. Hopefully that's in the past. Hopefully Benfica comes in, plays the football that we expect them to play. We all want them to play as Benfiquistas. And again, the more better players you have on the field, the easier things get. And so if he plays, I'm not sure it has anything to do with his price tag. I think it'll be more that his qualities as a finisher, as a goal scorer is what we need. We can't spoil these opportunities because if Benfica comes out of the gate limping, do you understand? The country will be in turmoil. The newspapers will be I'm serious. It'll be all over again. It'll be hell at Seychelles, hell at Toulouse, all over again. And so I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure, and JJ's is going to try to put the guys on the field that are going to give them the results.
Yeah, no, as Thiago says, not because of an investment. He is the best player at his position on the roster. Look, like I said, I don't know much about the guy,
especially with Seferovic being injured. Vinicius doesn't count, so it's really between him, Ramos, and Walshman. But Walshman is not a number 9.
Yeah,
so it's really between those two right now.
You're right.
Pinho is out,
and Moraes was asking, how does the lineup change at home against Spartak? And look, we may see the Ukrainian at home. We may see the Ukrainian this weekend and
I think the only change will be a Yaremchuk up top. If there's going to be a change, it'll be Yarem, because again, as I stated before, it's him or Gonzalo, and due to the fact that Gonzalo just played, 55 minutes or so, they might feel this guy, has come in, he's fresh. Let's see what we got. Give the kid a breather, you let him come off the bench. You saw that last year coming off the bench, he could obviously make an impact. So you might see that one, and the other one I think you might see a Peasy to the bench possibly with the return of Everton to the starting 11.
Yeah, no, I hope that happens soon. I thought that Peasy was awful today.
Hopefully
Hilton, well at all.
No, Hilton can't play. Never mind.
Didn't play well at all. Anyway, first game of the new named Portuguese domestic competition, Liga B win.
Benfica
happens
win.
B win. Benfica win.
Sad.
Happens this Saturday. Benfica will play Moreirense. It's away, right, Dave? At 1 p.m. in Moreira de Cónegos. Dave.
At 1 p.m. in Moreira de Cónegos.
Any stat?
1 p.m. there or here?
Here, 1 p.m. here.
So 1 p.m. 1 p.m. here. Yeah, 6 p.m. in Moreira de Cónegos. Sorry about that.
They don't play day games in Portugal. That was a shock. Like, what time I gotta wake up here?
Early. Dave, besides our homeboy, or your homeboy rather, Steven Vitória in this Moreirense, anything else that jumps out at us?
They finished 8th last season with 43 points. They've already been eliminated from the League Cup. They were eliminated by Penafiel and PKs, so they bounced out in the first round of that tournament. But historic numbers, we've got 22 wins, 5 draws, and 2 losses. Recent history hasn't been on our side, though. 1 win and 2 draws in our last 3. And in the last 6, 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss.
Yeah. So hopefully there's not a residual effect from Europe, right? Because sometimes we'll see a team play well in Europe and then kind of have a little bit of a breakdown domestically. I hope that Benfica is able to carry the momentum and some of the things that we saw today in the game against Spartak Moscow and really take it to Moreirense, put that game away early, manage the game, and then save some legs for Tuesday, obviously. But I don't anticipate a hard time for Benfica. But hey, first game of the season, first away game of the season, up north, no less. Limitation in terms of fans. I think that they're allowing some fans in. I don't know the level and the number of fans that will be allowed, but nonetheless, it's always good. And I meant to ask you to research that, Dave, to see what Benfica's initial or league debuts have been in the past 5 years, but I don't know if they've been too favorable. I know at one point
under JJ things were ugly.
JJ, with JJ it was bad.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll turn the tide on that one, and we'll get this started, because I got to tell you, and as a Benfiquista, you guys all know, last season was painful. So we're hoping that this season meets up the expectations that we at least had last season, right? Because the expectations were very large as a result of the investment. And albeit the signings that we've made so far, and I've liked the signings, especially the João Mário, the Yaremchuk, I'm holding to see what's going to happen. I'm positive about it. I'm being an optimist about it. And I just hope that the team just goes on. You got a Porto that's been quiet throughout the preseason. Of course, all of the Benfica news I've kind of overshadowed everything that's been happening with the other teams. But Porto hasn't lost a game yet in preseason, but take it for what it is, obviously. Sporting did not lose anyone, right? You got another year under Ruben Muri, added a couple pieces, right? A couple surgical pieces that they needed. They're going to complement their team well. So look, it's going to be competitive again. It's going to be
Braga is going to put up a fight.
Yeah,
things are going to be. Guimarães is going to be a little bit better. So it's going to be. Look, it's going to be top heavy, but nonetheless, it's going to be an exciting campeonato. Anytime Benfica plays, we make it exciting. Even when things are bad, you're still excited for that weekend, for that game to pop off, so you can see it. But the pressure.
Yeah, João Mário will not be. I don't think João Mário will be able to play this game.
He's not. That's right. He's not playing this game. Forgot about that.
He's suspended for the first
because he got a red card with the last game at Sporting. Yep. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Does Mete start there?
I don't know. I think it's
possibly because move him at 6 and put Weigl up top. Move Weigl to the 8 position.
That's something that JJ had mentioned, that he hadn't played ball in a few weeks, and it's going to take him a little extra to catch up to the team. Abala was reporting that he was working on his off days or during his off time to catch up to the team. But I don't know. I think that in that position, JJ is very specific in what he wants for a player, and it might take a little bit longer for a player to get acclimated to the game ideas and to assimilate the ideas that JJ wants. That's what I think. Mete, we might not see him right away, but I think that sooner or later we will see him. We will see him. I think that JJ favors him over Weigl. I really do.
I was told that is JJ's preferred dupla tandem is Maite and
João Mário. Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I agree with that.
Look, and again, if we still everything, this roster is not closed yet. Okay? It's not final. If Benfica qualifies for the Champions League, there's going to be some guys on this roster leaving and new additions. Just like if they don't qualify, there's going to be guys leaving because they need to make up that money. So we'll take it one game at a time. I think Maite might play this very first game. Look, JJ, as I stated before, this is what these guys were brought in for. JJ has all tons of pressure on him to win this game. I think Benfica is going to attack things at one game at a time, and we'll worry about next game. Right now, it's about winning this game. Tremendous amount of pressure based on the horrific season we had last year. And it would be ignorant on JJ's part because as we saw last season, he went into PAOK reserving some of the new signings and he, obviously he regretted it for the rest of the season. And I don't think he's going to commit that same mistake twice. I think the Yarmchuks of the world, if he doesn't start, he's going to come in early in the second half. He'll get a huge chunk of game time. Maite is going to get in there and play, especially with the absence of a João Mário. I expect these guys to play. They're brought in to play. They weren't cheap. They have to put up results from day one. It will be disastrous if Benfica doesn't come away from Moreira Cónegos with the 3 points.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun. It's going to be a circus. And I think JJ knows that. Rui Costa knows that. There's a lot riding on the line in these very early games of the season. And Benfica will do everything possible to get those victories.
Yeah, like before we go, just a late minute here. Shout out Pedro Pichardo, who is a Portuguese triple jumper that's competing in the Olympics as we speak. Holds right now the longest jump, and he's the last one to jump. So I think they're going on the last round. So it's very possible that he will be getting that gold medal for Portugal, and I think it will be the 5th gold medal of all time for Portugal. And also,
is he eligible for the Benfica roster?
He's a Benfica athlete.
Okay, so is he eligible?
Well, he could probably jump for corners.
What sport does he practice?
Triple jump.
Oh,
track and field triple jump.
Goalkeeper. Possibly he could jump better than Vaco.
As long as he holds on to the ball.
I thought it was like some type of.
No, big shout out. So I hope that comes through, and it's been.
What about the rest of the guys? What about the rowing guy from Benfica? You only give a shout out to that guy. That guy got a bronze.
He got a bronze. Yeah, that's right. And there was a guy from judo who also got a bronze, and Patricia Mamona, who was a triple jumper for Portugal, also she got the silver.
No golds yet.
No golds yet. So this might be the first gold of this Olympic Games, and it will go to Pedro Pichardo, Portuguese athlete. Competing in Tokyo.
Via?
It doesn't matter.
I'm asking.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Does it matter?
No, it matters.
Via Gafanha de Nazaré.
My hometown.
Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. Thanks for keeping us company.
Yeah,
thanks all of you guys that came in and commented and were engaged with us. We're going to do this every Tuesday night. We're going to try to
maybe on Wednesdays, depending on games.
Yeah, depending on games. Yeah, because Benfica will be in Europe, so we'll
Europe. Vary. Epa, don't jinx it.
Well, hopefully
they're going to be in Europe either way. If it's Europa League, it's still Europe.
Dave, you're right.
But it's not. That just you're sending bad vibes.
You're right. You're right, Dave. You're right. But anyway, thanks a lot for checking us out at 10CO10 at 87DO87. At Benfica Podcast, where you can find us on Twitter, benficapodcast.com, Benfica Podcast, benficaindependent.com. Don't forget that. We're big partners there. And thanks, everyone. And wear do your lucky rituals for Benfica this upcoming Saturday, so we could get started on the right foot.
Yeah, and I expect you all back here next Tuesday evening, to chit chat about Benfica. And again, man, appreciate
it's a date.
All the interactions. We love you guys. We love doing this for you guys. We love interacting with you guys. So keep them coming. And Carrega Benfica.
Take care, everyone. Thanks again.
Peace.
Later.